Hello everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome to today's special feature. As you've already garnered by the title about what I'm going to talk about, I do have a couple of disclosures to start off with, and they are basically, so I'm not in breach of my contract in any way, that anything that I'm about to talk about in this video has nothing to do with any companies, legal entities, persons living or dead, and are not meant to represent them in any way at all. These are just general business practices that I'll be talking about, and are not specific to any case whatsoever. So now we have that out of the way, I wanted to talk a bit about the corporate world and their employment tactics, or well, maybe lack of, in fact. And due to some experiences I've had over my years of being employed, which I got my first job when I first went to university, so I was a bit late getting in the job market. A lot of my friends already had smaller, like, part-time jobs on the market, or delivering newspapers, I suppose. Before then, I hadn't, unfortunately. I never managed to acquire one of those positions. Nevertheless, in my time of being employed, I've come across some, I would personally say that they are dubious employment tactics by corporate entities. And that is much in the way that they go around hiring people for their own company. So let's say, in a hypothetical situation, that corporate entity, obviously a lot of them do, have temporary staff in through an employment agency. And then, of course, that company will have positions open within its own business, which the temporary employees will obviously be wanting to, or will aspire to pick up, perhaps, for the added benefits, the extra pay, and, well, I always say benefits, the perks that come with being a fully fledged employee. Now, in my mind, and there is a counter-argument to this, but in my mind, the perfect opportunity for that company is to get the people in temporarily, see how they work, see how they go about their jobs, hopefully in a professional manner. Obviously the ones that don't can be got rid of fairly easily. But when it comes time to employ staff for their own company, I would have thought the sensible, logical thing to do would be go to their managers who are employed by the company, or go to someone employed by the company that works above them, and say, can you give me some names of people that you think deserve a chance for this opportunity that we've got in our own company, who are doing their job particularly well, and therefore should be considered for such a position. And then inviting those individuals, if they so desire, to an interview to discuss whether they're a right fit for the company. Whereas what I've experienced, or what I've heard about, on the other hand, is a very blanket approach to that, as in everyone, no matter their position on the temporary contract, can apply for it in the main company, and then answer a set list of questions with set answers, with very little personality involved, giving it a very faceless task, I think, and being really quite cutthroat. And as far as I'm concerned, generally, if you have a cutthroat approach to employment, then you end up employing cutthroats. And you don't give the employees the sense of empowerment that they should have, the drive to work well for the company. I know there's a certain amount of effort that everyone should give when they're employed by someone, but my logic dictates that you employ the people that work hard on a daily basis, that go above and beyond, that stick through thick and thin, that are willing to help out the company even when they're only a temporary staff. and then giving them the chance to do it, and on a more personal level as well. When you have an interview with someone on a personal level, rather than this blanket-faced approach, you learn their strengths and weaknesses. You don't learn anything. You learn the other way is that they can memorise some questions and regurgitate the answers. You don't have anything on the spot to get people talking about their position, about their aspirations, their goals, what drives them to get up and work in the morning. All these things I think are far more important than whether you can talk about a particular procedure in a particular scenario that they perhaps never encountered before. While that's important, that can obviously be picked up and gained anyway. I do have a big fundamental problem with it. Effort and commitment are not necessarily rewarded, and they don't seem to value the people that are working. It doesn't value the people that are working there and what they've already accomplished. Like I say, it's a very blanket approach, and just not the way that I would see myself doing business. And I've actually been fortunate enough to work for a couple of companies that haven't seen it like that at all. They have based it purely on your own personal merit, your dedication, your commitment, and your hard work. And I'm very thankful for those companies that I have worked in the past. They'll know, well, I presume one of the people that are still working in that environment will know what I'm talking about and will appreciate it, because they should appreciate working for a company like that. And I guess my moral compass sort of sways a bit when it comes to how it is run in a corporate environment. I just don't like it, basically, on a personal level. I do see perhaps the other side of the argument, which is, well, you're employing people that are really focused and honed in on this set of information that we want them to know. I guess the fact that they're willing to, I don't know. I am finding this one difficult to balance out. This is where hopefully you guys come in that are watching. I mean, if you can think of more reasons against my particular argument, perhaps mine is just an ideal more than something that can be implemented in the corporate world. Maybe mine is more of in a perfect environment, this is what would happen, but there are some limitations that I don't see that stop it from happening. I don't know. I really don't. No. Progression through effort, commitment, hard work, and desire is how I would like to see employment done and treated upon. So, I mean, I'm totally away from this topic, just in general term. I am finding myself a lot more cynical to a lot of employment business practices over the years since I've been employed, believe it or not. And I find that it's something that I'm really passionate about, actually. And I do really think that I would like to get involved in some sort of... I mean, I've always wanted to get involved in the legal field, but I really do think I'd love to get involved in the employment side of things, whether that be to do with unfair dismissal, contracts, employment contracts. I'm not... But then I'm also conflicted because I'm not a huge fan of unions, and I do see myself as being fairly business-minded when it comes to how I foresee things and how I feel about other business practices that aren't employment. So, yeah, I feel a bit conflicted by it. But, no, this is something which I think the corporate world would really benefit from taking a more personal approach with their employees, their potential employees, and how they treat progression within their companies. I think that they'd be better for it. The employees would be better for it. And it would breed a competitive edge rather than what I've seen as one of, I won't go as far as to say hatred, jealousy, envy, because when it comes in terms of effort and results, you know if you've worked hard enough to achieve those results, and if you've worked hard enough to have gained promotion and praise from what you've done. And you can't really dispute that. If someone else has won it because they're better at answering blanket questions than you are, then I can see where that comes from. Luckily, it's not my desire to stay in that corporate world necessarily. I do want to have my own business at some point in my life when I'm ready. So, yeah, I hope that when it's my turn and I've got my business, that I will make sure I employ the right tactics that I believe work best in the world of business, not this approach that I've read, seen, heard about throughout my life. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. It's been a long enough video already. You're probably bored of seeing my face. I'll do the normal, ooh, look at my face. Yeah, that's just downgraded the video by a bit, but never mind. If you do like this t-shirt, I have another design coming up within the next 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, in 2 weeks it'll be up. Quite similar to this, same sort of theme, but with a bit of a different twist on it. So I'm looking forward to ordering one of those shirts for myself and wearing it for you guys, or wearing it for myself, I suppose. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments, queries, questions, put them in the comments below. We can have an intellectual debate if you wish. I don't have a problem with that, especially if the person that I'm debating with has got some good points. It does help with both people, I think, to understand both sides of the argument better and to appreciate perhaps where the other side is looking from. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there before I go on too long. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you all very soon.